Welcome back to Tiara Speaks Dog. Now today, I want to talk about faith. Not the religious kind necessarily. I'm talking about the kind that exists between two partners. The kind that says, I believe you'll do the right thing. A few weeks ago, one of my clients, Kinsley, was getting picked up by her mom. Kinsley is an incredibly reliable off-leash dog. And as I watched her mom pull into the parking lot, I realized she parked on the busier side of the building, where cars were constantly coming through and they would have to cross the road to get back to the car. Without really thinking, I asked, "Wait, do you need a leash for her?" Her mom looked at me, then she looked at Kinsley, and then she smiled and said, "No, we're okay." And then she walked to the edge of the crosswalk. Kinsley lined up next to her, and her mom said, "Stay and wait." And then she waited. Cars passed by, people walked by, and then some more cars passed by. And then Kinsley never moved. When the road was clear, her mom released her, and together they calmly crossed the street. And I remember just standing there thinking, she has faith in that dog. Not blind faith, though. That's important, an important distinction. Earned faith. Okay, faith built through hundreds and hundreds of successful repetitions doing the same thing. The moment really stuck with me because faith changes the way we behave. When we believe a good outcome is likely, we're willing to give someone the opportunity to succeed. And without that belief, we often don't. And that applies to dogs too. Faith gives rise to optimism. The optimism that says, I think my dog can handle this. And because you believe they can, you stop micromanaging every second of their life. You stop repeating commands over and over, and you stop anticipating failure before it even happens. Instead, you allow them the chance to make the correct decision. One of my favorite examples is Loki. Loki is a German Shepherd who's been through several training programs before he ever even came to me. And when I first evaluated him at his home, he was reactive to the dogs around his neighborhood. But what really stood out to me wasn't Loki. It was his mom. She would ask him to down and then immediately say it again and then again. Sometimes she'd repeat the command even though Loki was already doing exactly what she asked. I don't think she was being stubborn about it. I think she was just scared. She had lived through so many difficult experiences with him that she no longer believed he would hold the position. She was preparing for failure before it happened. I coached her to give the command once. If he breaks, then address it. But until he gives you a reason not to trust him, let him show you what he knows. That was incredibly difficult for her. Not because she didn't understand the instruction, but because emotionally she just wasn't there yet. Fast forward to today. Loki can run around my local campus with a pack of dogs. He works off leash. He can stop, recall, ignore distractions. He can even cross the road safely without a leash, just like Kinsley. Has his training improved? Absolutely. But something else has changed too. I have faith in him, which means I don't hover over every decision he makes. I don't repeat every command 3 times. I don't constantly communicate that I expect him to fail. I give him the room to succeed. And I honestly believe dogs feel that. When someone trusts you, you tend to rise to the expectation. When someone constantly expects you to mess up, you become hesitant. You second guess yourself. Dogs may not understand those thoughts the same way humans do, but they absolutely respond to confidence, consistency, and clarity from the person handling them. Now, again, I will say this does not mean become reckless. Faith is not wishful thinking. Faith isn't unclipping the leash because you're hoping everything works out. Faith is something that's earned. It's built through hundreds of successful repetitions, through consistency, through accountability, through proving to each other that you're both reliable. That's why I think one of the greatest compliments a dog can receive isn't, "My dog is obedient." It's this, "I can trust my dog." Because trust means the training has become part of the relationship. And I think dogs notice when we trust them, just like they notice when we don't. So here's my challenge for you this week. Find one moment where your dog has already shown you they're capable. Give them the cue once, take a breath, and then give them the opportunity to prove you right. Sometimes the greatest gift we can give our dogs is the chance to live up to the faith we've built together.